The animal didn't cross the street because it was too tired. You just read that and you knew instantly that it means the animal, not the street. You didn't even think about it. But a language model doesn't see words, it sees numbers, and nothing in the word it tells it which thing it points to. So how does a machine figure out what you understood without trying? That is the exact problem this episode is about, and the answer is a mechanism called attention. Here is the question I want to land by the end. How does the word it reach across a sentence and grab the word it depends on using nothing but numbers? By the end, you'll watch it happen one score at a time inside a real model. And once you see it, the whole reason these models are called transformers is going to click. Let's start with why this is even hard, because the problem is deeper than one tricky sentence. Take a single word on its own, bank. I haven't told you anything else, so you genuinely can't know what I mean. It could be the side of a river, or it could be the place that holds your money. The word by itself is empty, and only the words around it decide which meaning is real. Now remember what we built in the last episode. Every word gets turned into a list of numbers, a point in space, and we call that its embedding. But here is the catch that ruins everything. That embedding is the same every single time, whether I mean the river or the money. The word walks in carrying one fixed set of numbers, and it has no idea what sentence it landed in. So the model needs a step that lets each word update itself based on its neighbors. That step is attention, and everything from here is just how it works. Let's go back to our sentence and follow one word, it. Think of it as having a question it needs answered. The question is basically, which word in this sentence am I standing in for? In attention, that question is called the query. It's the thing this word is actively looking for. Now, every other word offers something back, like a little label describing what it is. Animal holds up a label that says roughly, I am a living thing. Street holds up one that says, I am a place. Each of those labels is called a key. So one word is asking a question, and all the other words are advertising what they are. And behind each key, every word also carries the actual information it can give away. That payload is called the value. So each word wears three things: a question it's asking, a label saying what it is, and the content it can share. Query, key, value, and every single word has all three at the same time. The whole trick of attention is matching one word's query against everybody's key and pulling in the values that fit. So how does the model decide if a query and a key actually match? It's simpler than you'd think. It just multiplies them together and adds up the result. That gives one number for how well this word's question fits that word's label. A big number means these two are talking about the same thing. Our word, it runs its question past every word and gets one score for each of them. Now we've got a pile of raw scores, but raw scores are awkward to work with. So we push them through a step that does one clean job. It turns the scores into weights that are all positive and that add up to exactly 1. That step is called softmax, and you can think of it as splitting one full unit of attention across all the words. The word that matched best gets the biggest slice, the rest get less, and nothing is wasted. For our sentence, animal walks away with most of the attention and street gets almost none. Here is the payoff, the moment it all comes together. The model takes every word's value and blends them, but weighted by those attention slices. Most of what flows into it comes from animal, because that's where the attention went. And that blend becomes a brand new version of it, one that now carries the meaning of the animal. The word walked in empty and context blind, and it walked out knowing what it refers to. That is attention, the whole thing, once for one word. And I don't want you to take my word for any of this, so here is the real thing. This is an actual attention pattern pulled out of a small model we are training across this course. Every row is a word asking its question, every column is a word answering. Look at the row for it, and the brightest square is sitting right under animal. Nobody told the model to do that, it learned it from reading, and we are just reading it back out. Now, there's one honest problem with everything I just showed you. A word doesn't only care about one kind of relationship. It wants to know what it refers to, sure, but it might also care about the verb it belongs to or the word right before it. Asking a single question can't capture all of that at once. So the model doesn't run attention once, it runs several copies side by side, and each one is called a head. Each head learns to look for a different kind of connection. One head might specialize in which noun does this word point to. Another might quietly track word order or match verbs to their subjects. They all look at the same sentence at the same time, and then the model stitches their answers together. So instead of one opinion about what matters, every word gets a handful of them, each about a different relationship. Step back for a second, because this is where the whole field turned. Everything I showed you for the word it is happening for every word in the sentence at the same time. Every word asks its question, checks everybody's key, and pulls in the values that matter, all in parallel. That parallel part is why these models train on enormous amounts of text without falling over. And then you stack this step over and over, layer after layer. In the early layers, words pick up the simple local connections, like which words sit together and belong together. By higher layers, they're combining those into real meaning, like who did what to whom. Each layer's output becomes the next layer's input, and understanding builds up gradually. This mechanism, attention stacked into layers, is the T in GPT, the transformer. It's the single idea underneath almost every model you've heard of. So let's answer the question we started with. How does it know what it refers to using nothing but numbers? It asks a question, every other word answers with a label, and the best matches decide what flows in. And watch what happens when I change one word. The animal didn't cross the street because it was too wide. Now it means the street, and the attention swings across on its own because the neighbors changed, and so did the match. Nothing about the word it changed, only what it was allowed to look at. We've watched one mechanism do one job beautifully, but a single attention step isn't a model. Next time we open up one full transformer block and see what wraps around attention to turn it into a thinking layer. That's where the mesh you just saw becomes a machine.